Hey guys, I got something really cool to show you today. This is something that I got near the end of the summer. I got this literally 2 days after I got the Memorex 4-head stereo VCR that you've already seen. This is a Panasonic OmniVision 4-head hi-fi stereo VHS VCR from 1998. It's the model PV-8450. I got this at the local thrift store here. Again, just like a day or two after I got the Memorex VCR. And I saw this thing, and I bought it for $3. And would you believe, this thing works absolutely perfect. Which is totally awesome. You might remember, a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago now, I bought a Panasonic OmniVision 4-head stereo VCR at a yard sale. And that VCR turned out not to work. It was a newer unit from 2002 or 2003 if I remember right, and it wouldn't load the tape correctly, and I eventually destroyed it trying to fix it. I rotated a rotary encoder and put it out of alignment or something like that, and the VCR just would not even turn on anymore. It was completely junk. And to be honest, that VCR was all around just a pile of junk. It was such poor build quality inside and out. It was so light, and everything inside it was made of plastic. And I did some research online, and that particular model, and pretty much most Panasonic VCRs from that era were just absolute junk. Really low reviews on Amazon.com, and it was built in Indonesia. But this unit looked to be a lot better. It was made in 1998, so a little bit older, and this VCR was made in Japan. Very nice. So you can already be guaranteed that the build quality is going to be a lot better than that other VCR that was made in Indonesia. So yeah, I've already tested this thing fully, and it works absolutely perfect. So that's totally awesome. So let's take a look at what we got here. Buttons for power, stop and eject, channel. This VCR does have a built-in cable tuner. Energy Star compliant, woohoo. And this has a vacuum fluorescent display. That other VCR, that newer, crappier, cheaper one, had an LED display, but this is a full-blown VFD display. I turn night shot on here. You can see the cathodes going there and all the display elements. So you have vacuum fluorescent display, another sign of, just higher end components. Vacuum fluorescent display is higher end than an LED display, and it looks very nice. It's got white numerals. They've got a purple filter over it to turn the green elements white. Button to switch between the input for VCR or TV. Your tape transport controls, play, rewind, fast forward, and record. If we look on the back, it's the info sticker. Data manufacturer October 8th, 1998. Model PV-8450-K. Made in Japan. Very nice. Another sticker there. Stereo inputs and outputs on the back, as well as a cable or antenna input and a television coax output. No input on the front, like that other Panasonic I had, but we don't need that. And yeah, this thing works just fine. I have it turned on right now. When you turn it off, the display actually dims. Very nice. And I've actually got a tape in it right now. I'll eject that. Very nice, and it works just absolutely perfect. I push in the tape. Works like a dream. So let's take a look at inside this thing. To get inside it, there's a screw there, a screw up there. There's also 2 screws on the bottom, one here and one there that you have to remove in order to take the top cover off. And once the screws are off, the cover just lifts off. Ta-da! Oh, I should have unplugged this. I didn't even unplug it before doing that. So let's take a look inside. We have a switching power supply. Pretty standard fare for a VCR of this era. A lot of components made of plastic, but it's not bad. Got our head drum here. How many heads? 1, 2, 3, 4. All accounted for. And if I remember right, I can't remember if I did or didn't. I think... No, I don't believe I did. That was the other VCR. The Memorex VCR. I put some white silicone grease on the tracks here where it loads the tape. But I haven't done anything to this one. Probably won't, because I don't need to. It works just fine. But our demo tape here, this Polaroid Supercolor T120 tape. I stick it in here. We'll see how it loads. It's a quick loading deck, so it wraps the tape around the head even before you start playing, and you can see the head drum there winds down, but it keeps the tape wrapped around it. So we can press play here, and I'll turn backlight off there. I think you can see better that way. Fast forward. Can't really see. Yeah, you can see the tape. Fast forward. It's got quite a noisy motor on it when you're cueing and reviewing. And of course the display shows the status. Blinks when you're reviewing or queuing. Stop. And eject. When you eject, it just shows the time on the display. And I'll put it back in. I'll eject it again, let you see the mechanism when it ejects. So there you go. And yeah, that's pretty much all you really need to see inside it. Even right there it says made in Japan. I would assume that this is belt driven. There's probably one belt on the bottom of the mechanism there. God help us all if it ever goes bad, because I might be at the same risk of putting a rotary encoder or something out of alignment if I ever have to remove the deck to change the belt. Because once again, standard for a VCR of this era, the tape transport mechanism is mounted on top of this circuit board. There's no way to get to said belt without removing this deck from the circuit board. So if I ever have to do that, God help me, but at least right now this is working just fine. So there's a look inside it. So I'll put the cover back on it, and we will do a demo of this thing. Alright, we're all put back together. What I did do before I closed this thing back up was I cleaned it with some isopropyl alcohol, because I don't think I ever did that to this machine. Cleaned the erase and audio heads, and then I used the strip of paper method, because you shouldn't use Q-tips on the heads on the head drum, the rotating heads, because the heads can get caught on the cotton strands and you can actually damage the heads like that. So a way to do it is to take a strip of paper about yay wide and just get it wet with isopropyl alcohol, hold it up against the head, and then spin the head while you're holding the paper against it. And it actually works quite well to get dirt off of the rotating heads. So we're all put back together now, and I unplugged it, so when I plugged it back in, the time and everything that I set is all gone now. So I've hooked my TV up to it, and I'll show you how you set it up here. Now I actually have a remote for this. It didn't come with the remote, so I bought one off eBay. I got this for $10 or thereabouts, I think. And the reason I got this remote was because I wouldn't have been able to demo this thing for YouTube as I like to demo VCRs if I didn't get a remote for it, because this thing defaults to SLP recording speed, and I like to demo these things with an SP recording speed so that you at home can see how good quality this thing is at its best possible quality. So, and you can't, you know, it's what I hate about modern VCRs is you need the remote to set anything on them. And for this unit, that includes the recording speed. So I got a remote for this, and that will allow me to change the recording speed. You also need it to do just about everything else on this VCR outside of straight playing a tape. So I'll turn the exposure down here. And you can see it says select a language and what buttons to push for whatever language. So we want English, VCR channel up for English. And well, it wants to set up the cable tuner, but we won't have that, so I'll just press stop and that cancels it. Please set clock by pushing action key, so we'll push action. And we'll do a manual clock set. And today's December the 21st. Oh, accidentally went on 20th, but it doesn't matter. None of this matters. And it's like 8 or 9 o'clock or something. There you go. Yeah, blah blah, it's not DST, but hey, we're done. And when you set the clock shows up on the display, including an AM or PM indicator. It's actually PM. And the little orange indicator there, I guess that just means power. It comes on when power's on. Got a VCR indicator to show if your the video output's going to be the VCR itself or just a pass-through to the antenna connection. And we get a hi-fi indicator, which will show up when we are playing back a hi-fi recording, such as a recording played in this VCR. So I'll stick in a tape here. Oh, we should get off the menu. It's end action. There we go. We'll push in a tape. And you can see if I push play, it actually shows up on the display there, first big and then it shrinks. I have a recording I made here earlier today. So then we do stop and we can do rewind. Oh, and also, of course, I think I already said the display shows the actions. Play, stop, rewind, fast forward. And I'll let you listen to it, how it fast forwards here. And there's an on-screen display. Oh, now it's going to kick into high gear. It's quite audible when it rewinds and fast forwards, but not too loud. So there's the on-screen display, shows the time, what channel the tuner's tuned to, our recording speed, SP, LP. We do get LP recording on this, all 3 speeds, and SLP, or EP if you want, and a tape counter. Very nice. So we'll stop and rewind. Something I forgot to mention is that tape. Yeah, that tape. I keep forgetting that tape doesn't have very good. I'll just stop it. Put out of its misery. That tape doesn't have very good bearings. I don't know if you'd call it bearings, but whatever you want to call it, the hub of the tape rubs against the cassette itself and it makes this horrible noise which you just heard. And yeah, but the tape otherwise works great. It just doesn't like to move very fast. Oh, it already got to the end. I stopped it just as it went to the end. And we'll reset the tape counter, and there you go. So we'll do a recording demonstration of this thing now. So what I will do is I'm going to hook this camcorder up to the composite input, and I'll record video from this camcorder onto VHS, and then I'll play it back into this camcorder so I can get it to the computer. So let's do that. Alright, we are live on VHS. So here's what everything looks like. display says rec. And yeah. Oh, here's a nice demo of colors here. I've got backlight on still. I don't know if I should or shouldn't. I've gotten used to turning backlight on this camcorder, especially when I'm filming against this bedsheet, because this bedsheet's light in color. There's my other VCRs, my Citizen, made by Funai from 2000 or 2001, which I've owned since it was brand new. Might be getting rid of it soon, because I have no need of owning 4 VCRs. Below that, my RCA, model VPT-292 from 1988, I forget. Made by Hitachi, works fine but needs new belts. Gotta do that someday, replace the darn belts on that. And then somewhere among that pile of junk, I think you can see a corner of it right there, my Memorex, made by Funai, 4-head stereo VCR, oscilloscope, HP LaserJet 4M, the Sharp PC7000, still going to make a video of that. My Viking baseboard, portable baseboard heater from 1968, I think, that I restored, or not really restored, but I fixed the fan on it a couple of years ago. The fan had been seized for decades. And yeah, so there you go. Still got the stuff here. I just finished filming the video about that TV before I started filming this video. But yeah, here's what everything looks like through the camcorder from VHS. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. We might as well test the other 2 recording speeds. We've been recording in SP. Now I will press the speed button on the remote to switch to LP. We are now recording in LP. You gotta press the button twice, because pressing it just once makes the VCR recall the current recording speed. Then you press it a second time and it changes it. I really like this remote, by the way. Panasonic always had really nice remotes in the 90s. I especially like the big light tower universal remotes that had all the glow-in-the-dark buttons and buttons that lit up and all that stuff. But yeah, really nice remote. I like how the transport controls are arranged in a joypad here. This is what LP looks like. So I will now switch to SLP. And we are now recording in SLP, so it'll be interesting to see how the quality of the video and audio changes. So there you go. Finally, I will switch back to SP. And we are now recording in SP once again. And that's it.
We're going to check in with Steve. This continues now with Steve Murphy.
All right, thank you, Jay and Anna. And now for this Monday, December 21st, live and local. This is CTV News at 6. Tonight, judging the jury, the Olin verdict unleashes a public debate.
This is a jury that spent 4 days deliberating.
Charitable choices when there simply isn't enough giving to go around.
We're down about 20% on food, and we're down a little bit on food, on money donation.
And love that's evergreen. The Boston Tree produces a marriage proposal.
I always watched The Lighting as a kid with my mom on TV.
Live from our Maritime News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Steve Murphy.
Good evening, everyone. We begin here tonight with a jury on trial in the court of public opinion. Social media has erupted with comments about the conviction of Dennis Oland, much of it critical of the jury. There has been a good deal of surprise expressed over the jury's verdict, and one expert says that could be taking a toll on the 12 people.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but this question has been really burning me. I've got 2 4-head stereo VCRs here. How do they differ in quality? I want to find that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a DVD source, and I will record the same section of that DVD onto each VCR using the same tape, and then I'll play their respective recordings back in the right VCR to Digital 8 and to the computer, And I will compare how they look and sound, and I will get back to you guys about that. Now, why does that have a tape count? Oh, I've got a tape in here. Oh, that's interesting. What was I? Oh, I think I was recording commercials off this tape for CPQ 5360, a channel which I have very much neglected just because I I only have a limited amount of time and I want to spend it on other stuff. Anyway, yeah, I'll get my DVD player and see how these VCRs differ in quality. Alright, the results are in. First of all, before I did anything, I watched back the test recordings I made on this VCR and digitized, and this thing has great recording quality. Very, very impressed. What I'm most impressed by, though, is, I don't know about you guys, but to me, when I switched to LP and SLP, there was hardly any difference in audio or video quality. That's really impressive. I wonder if that's a general feature of all 4-head VCRs, because I've never been able to do that for this one. This one's stuck in SP recording mode, because I don't have a remote for it. Maybe I should get a remote for it sometime. But at least for this unit, yeah, LP and SLP, really fantastic quality, hardly any difference from SP, I found, so I'm really quite happy with that. As for how these two VCRs compared, to be honest, I was expecting to find at least a minor difference, namely this one being the better quality unit, but there was hardly any difference at all. There was absolutely zero difference in audio quality, and there was only the tiniest difference in video quality. And the difference is actually in the Memorex unit's favor. The Memorex had slightly better color, more vivid color, and it was ever so slightly sharper. But it was the difference is so absolutely minuscule that you might as well consider these equals. But yeah, if I had to choose which one of these has the better recording quality, it'd be the Memorex. I'm very surprised by that. But yeah, all in all, these VCRs are pretty much neck and neck, so that's good. So anyway guys, there is a look at the Panasonic OmniVision model PV-8450 4-head stereo VCR from 1998, made in Japan. What a great VCR, a very far cry from that junk Panasonic that I got a year or two ago. And yeah, I think this VCR will be a keeper, which means I probably won't bother hunting for VCRs anymore unless I come across something really awesome like a Super VHS VCR, or maybe one of those mid-80s Panasonics that were sold under a bunch of different brand names. They're awesome VCRs. But yeah, other than that, you know, I've got two great working 4-head stereo VCRs. I don't need any more VCRs in my hoard of crap. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later. This is a Panasonic OmniVision model PV-V4612-K VHS VCR, made in 2002. Ooh, FBI. Overlaid with the Fox logo. So yeah, it's actually, all in all, aside from the low resolution and the shoddy contrast, it's actually pretty good display.